Welcome back. This is the second part of a very essential, very important, I believe, um, way of working out your personal survival budget for the next 12 months. I've already obviously done one video which you've hopefully had a look at, which really was about setting up the basic template for this. So this is now the next part of this. So what I've done, I've taken the information that was created from the first one and stuck it into the second one. And obviously, I'm going to move on in terms of how you start to build this essential document. Just a little bit of a recap in terms of what we're actually done. So we've looked at all the regular outgoings that would be part of personal survival being the key word, into the Excel spreadsheet. But like I did say, it will be very personal to you individually. And of course, there is arguments that not necessarily all of these things would be essential as part of a personal spend. So yes, how you view things like broadband and TV in terms of streaming, etc. But that's a very personal call in terms of this is not about making any judgment calls on what you spend your money on. It's about you understanding, what you decide is your essential outgoings, that you can cover them from enough sufficient income, but you know what income that you need. So the second part of this, I'm going to look at column C, how often, column D, how much does that mean over 12 months, and column E, um, which is when they go out. Either it might be monthly, it might be uh, annually, it might be somewhere in between. B is the one that we've already done. So these figures that are in here, just to repeat, these could be monthly figures, things like, I think it was shopping, food and toiletries is a weekly figure. Same with petrol as a weekly figure. So these figures on the left here are not all necessarily monthly or weekly or annually. It all depends on when they actually go out. So yeah, looking at column C next. So how often? So this is how frequent the actual expenditure would be. So mortgage and rent, I would put there'll be 12 payments. So that's a frequency of 12, and then it would be very similar. So I'm just going to copy the 12 and then just paste it in where it would still apply as 12 separate payments. So insurance is there, those particular ones. Water, yes, is 12 payments. TV license, yes, is 12 payments. Broadband is yes, 12 payments. Mobile, yes, 12 payments. Energy, yes, 12 payments. 12, 12, 12. Pet, I'm going to put as 12. Some of them will be slightly, and this thing where again some sort of flexibility is needed because you may pay insurance once a month. Your food you're going to be paying weekly, so it's just balancing off. So I'm going to put 12 in there. Home insurance, I'm going to come back to. That particular one is monthly. Car insurance is annually. Car tax is a one-off. MOT is hopefully a one-off. Car service repairs, I'm going to put that as a one-off, but obviously it might be different times of the year, so that's a bit more tricky to do. Food is weekly, petrol is weekly, credit cards I'm going to put as a one payment a month, so 12 payments. Dentist hair. Now that's very interesting because obviously you don't want to be hopefully going to the dentist every week or even monthly. Haircut you might not be getting done monthly, so I'm just going to put in something slightly different. Clubs and clothing and office. So this is if you personally do sports club, you might be a member of a gym. But remember, of course, this is a personal survival budget. You might think I must. Gym is a survival. It's good for my health. It's good for my physical health, mental health. So there's no judgment call on that. So again, that will vary. I'm just going to put 12 in there. Because you might have membership fees for whatever club that you're in, that you go to. Microsoft Office, you maybe pay monthly for, and things like that. Um, so the ones that aren't quite 12 payments, I'm going to put in something slightly different. So council tax is 10 for what we pay. Home insurance is a one-off. Car insurance is a one-off. MOT are one-offs. Cost of I'm going to put as one for now. Food is 52 weeks of the year. Petrol, I'm going to put 52 weeks of the year. Credit cards, where I put 12. Dentists, I put 12. I'm going to put for in fact, actually, I'm gonna slightly reduce that because it's not a month. I'm gonna take that to 6. I'm gonna do 12 for Microsoft clubs and clothing. So they're again, I'm not going to subtotal them because it doesn't really give a kind of a meaningful figure. So this is just really the frequency of the payments generally. But some of these we know it's definitely 12. For some of them, it's putting something that's the most appropriate. Again, you can have a play of that. Now, the key thing to do now is actually work out how much that is over 12 months. So it's a formula. Of course, you can use the calculator function if you want in the computer, or you can use a physical calculator. So a lot of people use their phones nowadays as a calculator. Whatever what you want to use, I'm just going to use a formula. I'm going to do equals B3 multiplied by C3 to come up with the total over the year. So that is the 12 months spend for either a mortgage or rent. And all I need to do now is, the good thing about Excel is I just need to copy that down to repeat it to come up with the 12 months figures for each of those payments. So there we go. So that's 12 months of payments. So obviously the big one there is food, and then mortgage and rent, and then loans are in there. So yeah, they'll obviously all vary. What you need to do is just make sure when you're checking back that you've obviously put accurate figures are very important across. Well, how often those figures are, etc. So yeah, that's your first indication of obviously what your income you need from all sources of income over the next 12 months. Again, this particular thing isn't about is that high, that's low. For some people, it will be high. For some people, it will be low. For some people, it will be about mid-range. It's just ensuring that you've got a figure that you click. So that's quite quick. So could I stop now? I could do, because you can go right. Okay, well I know I need sort of 36,000 approximately. Because remember, during that year, some of these things will also go up, which I'm going to come to a bit later on. So that's why this needs to be a working document. Of course, it doesn't include any work travel or birthdays or Christmas at the moment. So again, back to what I said in the very first video, is just ensuring that it is actually accurate and reflective of what you are spending, and you're not missing, unless you're going to go right. Okay, well actually I've had a look at this and I can't justify certain costs, whatever they cost. I'm not going to pick on any particular ones, because obviously if you drive a vehicle legally you need car insurance, but things I suppose like clubs and leisure, but obviously leisure is often very good for our mental well-being and our physical well-being. So yeah, that's more of a judgment call. So the way I'm going to do this, when I'm going to use a bit of an abbreviation, because I'm going to put monthly and I'm going to put O1, because a lot of these probably go out at the beginning of the month, but they won't all do. And again, I'm going to copy, and it just helps you keep an eye on when things are going out when you're monitoring this. So monthly and I'm just doing a paste against each one. Broadband, I think, is slightly different monthly on about the 12th. Actually, I'm just pasting at the moment, aren't I? So I'm just doing the monthly on the 1st, so I'll come back to that. Again, with the kind of things that, yes, I put 12 payments in, but they may vary. Might be, you just pick when the largest one comes out, in terms of say monthly, you might get the food monthly if you've got a subscription or something like that. Home insurance, I'm going to come back to that because it's a one-off. That one is not monthly on the first. Uh, I'm going to put something slightly different in for most of the rest of these. Uh, Food is obviously that's a weekly figure, so it's not monthly. Petrol is the same. Credit cards, dentists and hair. Again, you could sort of you could use the beginning of the month or the end of the month. You could use mid month. So yeah, and clubs might uh, vary in terms of that. So that one I'm going to sort of come back to and slightly leave. So yeah, it's kind of having a realistic view of when some of these things come out. I know that one is about monthly on the 12th. Same there. Now the ones that are annually, I'm going to put the month that they are due. So whatever month that will be. That's at the end of the month, so I'm going to put the 30th. Our insurance is June. I'm going to do that. Now when is the tax? I think is about the same. Possibly. That is actually the MOT is not until October. In fact, actually, I think it's the other way around. So October. Change that. Car service. I'm going to sort of, go mid April, May, June, July, August, sort of, September. I'm going to put in there. Food is weekly. Petrol is weekly. 30th. So again, it's about partly if you might know these, looking at your bank statements and looking at when these things go out. But again, trying to be as realistic as possible, because the good thing about doing this is actually about updating it. So you've got an ongoing figure, which I'll obviously do another video to have a look at. So what we've got now, as you can see, this is now nicely building up. And it seems like there's a lot still there, but obviously there's a bit more sort of copying and pasting, which is useful. So the initial figures and actually just how much is paid, then how often, how many payments are over the year, what that means in 12 times 12 months, and when are they payable. And that comes up with, as I say, a sort of a subtotal of personal survival budget that's needed. There's no income in this yet. Obviously, you can build that in, but it gives